I fell asleep for 20 minutes during a work call and accidentally gave the best answer of my career. This happened about 3 months ago, and I've never told anyone because I genuinely don't know how to explain it. We were in the middle of a quarterly strategy call. 11 people, 2 hours scheduled, cameras off because our director had said it was audio only for focus. I was working from home. It was 2 p.m. I'd had a terrible night of sleep the night before, and the first 40 minutes of the call were someone from finance presenting data in a monotone voice over a screen share I couldn't see because I was audio only. I don't remember falling asleep. I remember the finance presentation, and then I remember a voice saying, "Actually, let's get some thoughts from the product side. What's your read on this?" That voice was asking me specifically, by name. I have no idea how long I'd been out. My notes from before I fell asleep said 2:14 p.m. My phone said 2:37 p.m. I had been asleep for somewhere between 15 and 20 minutes on a call with 11 colleagues and my director. I did not panic. I think I was too freshly awake to panic. I just said the first coherent thing that came into my head, which was something along the lines of, "Honestly, I think we've been measuring the wrong thing, and the metric we keep optimizing for isn't actually connected to the outcome we care about." There was a pause. My director said, "That's a really interesting framing. Can you expand on that?" I expanded on it for about 4 minutes, pulling from things I actually believed about our strategy that I had never said out loud in a meeting before because I'd always edited myself. Something about being half asleep removed whatever filter I usually apply. 2 people followed up with me after the call. My director mentioned it in our next one-on-one as a strong contribution. A version of what I said made it into the next strategy document. I have never told anyone I was asleep. I take very detailed notes in every meeting now and keep an extra strong coffee next to my laptop at all times. I also genuinely believe what I said was right, which somehow makes the whole thing worse. I was going to dump my wife, but my brother-in-law saved our relationship. She doesn't know and may never know. My wife and I met when we were teens. I had just come off of 2 very bad situations with girls who I thought were my girlfriends, but I was just their side guy. So when I met my wife, I was raw, not very trusting, but absolutely in love with her. She had a bunch of guy friends who were also obsessed with her, the worst being a guy named Bradley. I told her I didn't like him, didn't want to be in a relationship with so many other men hanging around. She begged me to be understanding, and I tried. One night, she is doing something, and I'm alone with Bradley and my now brother-in-law in their parents' kitchen. Bradley tries the whole alpha dog, "I've known her longer, and if you hurt her, shit on me." I was already raging at even seeing him because we had had an argument about him earlier that day. Some shit was said. Bill just watched quietly. Bradley implied something about my wife that just made me snap. I backhanded him and said I was fucking done with this shit and left. We had been dating about 9 months by then, and I had reached my limit of all the guys in her life trying to get with her or fuck with me or both. I planned on breaking up with her that day or the next whenever I cooled off. She found me early that next morning and started apologizing and crying nonstop. Apparently, my BIL told her everything and gave her a harsh lecture about her choice in friends. That seemed to finally get through to her and left me feeling like a shitheel for making of her cry. I changed my mind on ending the relationship after we spent hours talking. Been together 16 years, married 11. But I came so close to losing something that has been so perfect because I was young and didn't know how to handle it. My BIL saved my relationship with my wife.
Quiet guy. Doesn't speak up often, but is the only reason I am with her today. I left an anonymous, harsh review of my coworker's book 2 years ago, and now I have to listen to her quote it in meetings. She published it herself, like a proper self-published thing with a cover and everything, and she sent the whole team a link with this very excited email. I read it because I felt like I had to. It was fine. It was about productivity and habits and honestly pretty generic. The kind of book where you can predict the next sentence before you read it. I don't know what came over me. I left a review on Goodreads, anonymous account I made specifically for this. I wasn't cruel, but I wasn't soft either. I said something like, the core ideas felt borrowed, and the author seemed more interested in sounding credible than actually saying something new. I said it read like someone who had read a lot of books about writing books and not quite made the jump to having their own voice yet. I thought that was the end of it. It was not the end of it. About 2 months later, she mentioned in a team meeting that she'd gotten some really challenging feedback that forced her to rethink her approach for the next project. She read part of it out loud. It was my review, word for word. She said it was the most useful thing anyone had said to her about her writing, and she was genuinely grateful to whoever wrote it. She has mentioned this mystery reviewer 4 times since then. Once she called them brutally honest in the best way. Last month, she said the feedback changed how she thinks about her own voice as a writer.
I have sat there every single time and said nothing. I make a face that I hope reads as, interesting, and not, that was me. I wrote that at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday because I was mildly annoyed. I am never telling her. It would ruin it somehow. And also, I'm a coward.